Hey everybody out there in the internet world, I'm Chris and welcome to another one of my Dark Avengers comic book reviews. And this week we are officially in the last week of May. The comics I'll be reviewing today were released on May 25th, 2011. And starting next week we are officially at the midway point of the year 2011, and a lot has gone on in both DC and Marvel comics, not to mention a few minor major events in some independent companies this year, which is really awesome. You know, independents haven't really taken the initiative as much as they have been the past couple of years. But anyway, let's get into this week. But before we get into this week, I actually want to bring up two things that I got that were not released on this date. First off, as you guys can see, I have a new glass, and it is not a Lantern Corps glass. These actually sold out at Midtown Comics, and they came back into stock, and I just jumped at it. These are 16-ounce, a set of 16-ounce glasses in celebration of DC Comics' 75th anniversary. Has Superman's logo on the front, and in the back it says The Man of Steel. It's a set of two. They're on sale 15% off for about $7.99. So those of you Superman diehard fans such as me, go out and check these out. Also joining me in this review is Amber, and you guys know my cameraman Michael.
Hello.
My mic cameraman. Tongue tied. Okay, also this week I got a few old Superman comics. Superman the Man of Steel 66, which was the last actual Superman as Superman before he turned into the electrical Superman. Really, I didn't know that. I just bought it for the cover. Nice little background on that. And then I completed actually my run on the electrical Superman. Now I have the entire run of the electric Superman with Superman Secret Files and Origins #1, which is the only Superman electric one, I believe, unless I have the other one. No, there are other annuals, but that's the first origin, whatever. Anyway, Superman #127, which I believe I didn't have. I'm not sure. I got to go back into my collection, or I have a double. And finally, Superman Man of Steel Annual #6 concludes my electrical Superman run, both with the electric Superman and the red and blue electric Superman. This is the only book I can actually say Superman really wasn't in that much, but the cover is epically awesome. Okay, let's get into this week's comics. Also, from you guys that order on Midtown, you know this past week they released a bunch of magnets, keychains, buttons, bumper stickers, and pins. And I was gonna get a few magnets and keychains, but you know those things just add up after a while. You know, the $5 for one keychain, $5 for another magnet. You know, it just I just turned it down. But this thing I could not turn down. It wasn't $5. This thing was only about $1. It's a retro, I'd say from the 50s, Superman of America pin. So I grabbed that at least. And yeah. So now let's get into the actual comic books this week. The Traveler #7. In this comic, the Traveler he is now free from the jail, but Davi gets sent back into the jail cell, and Averis actually excuse me a second. Averis actually sends his agents in to rile up all his prisoners, so to speak. And Traveler actually tries to break back in, and he can't. But he does remember things from, I hope I'm saving her name right, but from Davi's memories, and he goes into her, I'd like to say her, oh here, yeah, it was right, her hideout, and he learns something about his powers and whatnot. And basically Davi's getting everybody together to escape the prison cell, whereas the Traveler is actually fighting off the people that attacked him 2 issues back. And he finds out he can go back in time, or he can find a way to temporarily go back, and he actually saves his friend, and instead of dying he throws some red ink on him instead, and he was back in time now, and he's going to make it appear that his friend dies, whereas he actually was the Colonel and his friend actually was the Viking. So if you guys want to go back a few issues, you can actually maybe see the reactions. And then he sends his friend home only to be ambushed. So that was kind of like a whoa. Loving the Traveler. I'm telling you the truth. These three represented by Stan Lee. Mark Waid is a really awesome writer. I've read a couple of his comics in the Big Two. Traveler has, it was the first, I believe it was, yeah, this was the first of the three Stan Lee comics I got, and it actually got me into buying Starborn, which then got me to get Soldier Zero, and all three of these are awesome. They all are interlocked. They all take place in about the same universe. I have a feeling at some point there will be a crossover, and I am absolutely looking forward to that most of all. But for now, we have to settle for the three stories, which are awesome. Guys, I absolutely say you should pick up all three. Okay, The Walking Dead 85, and if you see over here on the bottom of the cover, you flip it over. Mike, when you're done scanning, I'll flip it over. And it has a briefie of Witch Doctor number 0, which leads into the actual Witch Doctor story, which I will not be getting. I just felt I should tell you guys that. That's why this is a very thick comic. So this is the aftermath of No Way Out. Rick is tired of running. He says he figures that he's living in a huge community of people, and they can band together, maybe put some ideas out, and they can actually fight back against the zombies. And he actually talks to the entire community, and he's like, he's telling them that we got to come up with ideas to keep our community safe, but at the same time we have to find ways to stay in the cities longer so we can get more rations, and find ways to basically erase the zombies from existence. And they're all coming up with ideas of how to make the wall stronger, do some community events so everybody can get to know each other. Those are just a few things that were thrown around. You guys got to see this issue, really. And then it really focuses on Rick hoping that Carl wakes up, and because Carl hasn't woken up yet and he's in the hospital. And a few other of the survivors from this ordeal have their little side stories going on. But this all leads into the next story. I'm guessing it's like that interlocking kind of thing. Really awesome, really good. Walking Dead definitely took a step up now with issue 85. Sure. Okay, now we're getting into the big two. First off, Avengers, Fear Itself, Avengers 13. Yeah, it's Avengers 13. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, Astonishing Spider-Man and Wolverine Part 6 of 6 concluded. Spider-Man and Wolverine get stuck in the old West, so to speak. And it goes back and forth from when Wolverine was possessed by the Phoenix into where they're now trapped in the Old West. And Spider-Man falls in love, actually, with the person that came back with them from the bank. And Wolverine is he's like a chief of a tribe, and Spidey's a cowboy. And here's the best picture I can give you. And basically him and Wolverine become friends. And then, this is what I find very interesting. We know the Split-Second Men from The Traveler. I found this a little bit funny. These people are called the Minutemen. They patrol the time stream and set things right when they're wrong. So basically they come back, they go back in time and grab Sarah, Spider-Man, and Wolverine, and they basically put them right back to where this entire story started, with the robbery and them getting trapped. But this time the diamonds don't work, and they stay in the present. And the only people that remember anything are Spider-Man and Wolverine. Unfortunately, Sarah doesn't remember, and Spidey was about to propose to her in the Western times. And in the end, basically, Spidey's depressed because he lost the girl he fell in love with, and Wolverine's just sitting around drinking some beer, but he remembers the whole pact thing. There was a pact thing. Mike just showed the picture of the scan page. And then there's an epilogue, which may lead into a future crossover or a future Astonishing Wolverine line. Might be interesting. The Astonishing Universe has been growing as of late. First we had the Astonishing X-Men, which then led into this, and then led into Astonishing X-Men, some other title, and now we're having Astonishing Thor, and Astonishing Captain America is starting up. So Astonishing Universe is kind of building up like the Ultimate Universe, but that means Marvel Comics now has 3 universes. They have their regular normal universe, they have the Ultimate Universe, which both don't have any ramifications on each other at all, and then they have the Ultimate, the regular, and the Astonishing. The Astonishing and Ultimate have nothing to do with the regular, and have no impact on what happens in the regular universe. So why bother having an Astonishing and an Ultimate I would just keep one. And I'll be honest with you, they destroyed the Ultimate Universe. End the Ultimate Universe, keep the Astonishing Universe. Maybe you'll get more readers. Because having 3 universes out there is uberly confusing to fans, I'll tell you that much. And then they have the Kitty Universe, which is what they are calling Spectacular Spider-Man and Spectacular Avengers or whatnot. Anyway, Amazing Spider-Man 662 concludes his run. The Young Avengers, or Avengers Academy. That's it. Yeah, it's a forgettable title for this Avenger team. Spidey is the substitute teacher in the last issue, and in this issue, they're still under the control of, oh god, what's his name? Why do I forget? Psycho Man. And they're attacking Pete, and then they're attacking, then after they wipe out Spidey for a little bit of time, they start attacking civilians in New York. So it's up to Spidey to remind them of who they are and break the Psycho Man's control over them. And in the end, basically, one by one, he does break them free, and they beat the crap out of Psycho Man, but it turns out Psycho Man was really a robot. Classic supervillain ideas. And then in the end, Spidey's like, I was the worst choice. Maybe I was good as a civilian, but I wasn't good as a superhero teacher. And then the Avengers Academy say, no, he was really great. He taught us a really great lesson today. And then Hank Pym says, oh, maybe we should invite him back. And then he's like, no. So yeah, it was an interesting filler story, I guess. The next one is the Anti-Venom. Anti-Venom returns. I can't wait to see that. Eddie Brock returning to a Spidey comic. And then you have a 2-page splash of Infested Part 3. Getting ready, stage 3 of the Infested that's going to be coming soon. And then you have another shorty with, this story actually was interesting. It's introducing Magnet Man in The Choice. Magnet Man was a supervillain that Spidey ended up taking out. And he ended up going to jail, and then he tried to get back on track with his life. And when things didn't go his way because the bills piled up, his daughter, doesn't know him because he came out of jail years later. So he ends up wanting to go back to a life of crime. And right before he does that, somebody shows up, and he thinks it's Spider-Man, and it turns out to be Pete. And Pete's like, wow, you invented those? And he's like, yeah. And he says, maybe you should work for us. And he gives him a Horizon Labs card. And basically he saves Magnet Man from going back to his supervillain ways, and he had his mask just in case things went askew with his plan. But basically Peter Parker just prevented Magnet Man from going back to jail. So Spider-Man can save people as both Peter Parker and himself. I thought that was a nice little heartwarming story at the end of this issue. This issue was really good. Had 3 things in one. The road to Spider Island. It had that little story, and it had the main Avengers Academy story. Nice little filler. This part and the last part, unless you want to have every single part to Spider Island, the introduction, the road to it, it really wasn't necessary. It was a standalone 2-part story. But I liked it. The artwork was once again really awesome. Artwork in all the books that I've reviewed thus far has been awesome, except for this, but I threw it away already, and Amber, for some weird reason, picked it up off the floor.
Because I didn't want the dogs getting it.
If the dog got it, it would make it look better. Venom, number 3. Slowly, our good old friend Flash is losing control of the Venom costume. And the henchmen find out that Venom is is Flash Thompson. So they go off and they find out Flash has a girlfriend, and they abduct Betty. And basically they contact Flash after he takes the vibranium back and is ready to give it back to the government. And they say, if you'd like to see your girlfriend alive, you better bring it to us. I want to make sure... yeah. So basically, as Venom, I like the way they actually made Venom look in... I mean, it's not like 1980s Venom, but at least it's a Venom-ish. Like, no eyes in the middle of the white. Stupid. And basically, Flash is losing... I gotta get used to Venom being Flash Thompson. Flash is losing control of Venom, and Pete actually shows up at Betty's doorstep and finds out that Betty has been taken, and he goes off to try to find her, and he bumps into Venom, and they have a brawl out, and basically Flash loses complete control over Venom, and basically Venom wants to kill Spider-Man. That's how the whole thing ends, and it ends with the government pushing the button. So we don't know what's going to happen next, but this first story arc is going to conclude, and it looks awesome. And basically, also a little tidbit, Venom owes a favor to the guy who actually says that Venom saves his girlfriend. Basically, leave me out of your report, he says, and I won't come after you, and you just owe me a favor. So at some point, I'm guessing this is a future story arc idea. I am looking forward to the next issue just to see, because you know Flash Thompson isn't going to die, so you got to wonder what's going to happen next with Venom. How is he going to somehow prevent the whole dying thing from the button being pushed? And what's going to happen between Venom and Spidey now that Spidey's in the mix with this last story arc? And what's going to happen when Spidey finds out it's Flash? If he finds out it's Flash Thompson. A lot of good questions. This story is awesome. The artwork is awesome as well. I'm telling you guys, you should be checking out this new Venom, even though it's not Eddie Brock. And deep down inside, I'm wishing it was and praying one day this whole anti-Venom bullshit will go away and Eddie Brock will be Venom again. But it's a far cry, seeing as Marvel likes to keep changing their superheroes and anti-heroes and supervillains. Uncanny X-Men 537. Basically now Colossus also has lost his powers. He's been shot with the cure, so to speak. And him and the old Power Lord go at each other. And basically he loses the fight. And he slices Colossus, and Colossus starts to bleed out. And he says it'll only be a matter of time before he dies from all the blood loss, so it's up to Shadowcat to tell somebody and to, in a way, to save Colossus. So she's running around. All the psychics are knocked out. Cyclops is paralyzed. So the only one left on the island is Wolverine. And Wolverine can't hear her, but she's very smart. He can smell the guy coming from a mile away. So it turns out that he's going to be going mano a mano with Wolvie. So then Shadowcat ends up bumping into his alien girlfriend, who ends up slitting Shadowcat's, big spoiler here, throat. And that's where it says to be continued. A lot of people are bleeding out at the end of this issue. Gotta wonder, is anybody gonna die? Probably not. They didn't mention any major X-Men dying, so I'm sure Colossus and Shadowcat somehow will come out of this alive, and maybe Shadowcat will be able to phase into the physical and ghost form again. Doubtful, but very possible. Maybe she won't be able to talk anymore. Really good artwork is pretty passable. Good story arc as always. Wolverine number 9. Wolverine is going after Mystique, and he wants to know who sent him to hell to begin with, who Mystique was working for, and where they are, so he can just rip the crap out of them with his claws. And it turns out that the people, they're called the Red, I want to get this name right, because if I get it wrong, I'm going to feel stupid later. And where are we? They are called the... Eventually I'll catch the page with it. The Red Right Hand, and those are the people that are going after Wolverine. By the way, the internal artwork, once again, astounding. I want to get a good picture of Wolverine. So basically, Wolverine's going after Mystique. Mystique is being shot at by an assassin that the right Red Hand has sent after her to shut her up, so she doesn't give a lot of information away about them. And then it turns out that they end up telling where their whereabouts are. It's an obvious trap. And Wolverine heads towards them. He doesn't care, it's a trap at this point. And Mystique dies, so to speak, and she's off on auction, and she's auctioned off to these people. No idea who they are, guys. So if you know who they are, leave a comment and let me know, because I have no idea who they are. So Wolverine is looking pretty damn good. He's out for revenge, and he's going to get it no matter what. He's going to take everybody down along the way. Mystique is one. Now he's going after this group of people that sent him to hell in the first place. Really loving Wolverine. The artwork from day one, other than the weird covers from time to time, looking over the covers, the artwork inside the book has been amazing. So now Wolverine's on his little vengeance trip. I would be checking this story out. And by the way, guys, I know a lot of you hate this whole I give away the story thing, but first of all, somebody did mention on one of my other reviews that this is officially 4 or 5 days after the comics are released, so that gives everybody enough time to actually have read the comics. And for people who haven't read them and want to know if they should read them, I don't give away every little bit of detail with the comic books, so you still got to go out and buy them to get the full story. I'm giving you the briefy story. Yes, I'm giving you the main plots and everything, but I am not giving you the little things that may lead into future stories and stuff. So, and also I've seen people who've done reviews where they literally sit here and they put the camera down on the table and they show you page by page by page by page what's going on, and basically you could just read the comic right straight through their review. You what? What you?
AKA me.
No. They put the camera down and they actually show the comic book. I don't know. That's actually bad. I don't know if YouTube can close them down for releasing copywritten material. That's why I don't do it. But there are worse. There are more in-depth reviewers out there than me. So I'm one of the least reviewers. I give the least amount of information away. So anyway, let's get into Daken, Dark Wolverine 9.1. This issue is the middle issue between the Manipur, I want to say it right, story arc, and the next story arc that's going to be going on, where Daken goes to Los Angeles. He's going to California. So basically, in this issue, Daken takes complete and utter control over Manipur. He is now the official kingpin. Nothing goes on in Manipur without him knowing. So he ends up, one of the people, the last person he ends up rubbing out to get complete control over Manipur, basically says, you're not like your father. You're doing everything your father did. You do nothing but destroy. You don't create. So he sits around and he mulls that over in his head for a few days, and then he shows up at Avengers, the Avengers Tower. I'll call it wait, here it is. Avengers Tower, I was right. First of all, awesome splash of the Avengers. The artwork is awesome in this issue. Hopefully this artist is moving into the Daken, Dark Wolverine story. So the Avengers run off one way, Wolverine runs off another, and Daken basically shows up, after a full monologue between him and his father. He basically just shows up to say goodbye, and that he's going to, and I quote, live his own life. And he disappears, and basically he's now in Los Angeles, and he gets his own house. And it says, to be continued next, Daken's big break. It's going to be he's taking over Manipur. Now he's looking to expand his enterprise into Los Angeles. So we're going to be seeing a new adventure starting up with Daken. Daken, Dark Wolverine, and Wolverine, both stories are going fabulously. X-23 as well. I am actually very pleased I stuck with all three. Amber actually is the one that told me to hang on to X-23 for a while, and I'm very happy she actually did that. So we are concluding Marvel this week with FF number 4. Basically, all the supervillains that the FF has brought together, now they have to figure out a way to stop all of these Reed Richards. And it's not going to be easy, because these Reed Richards have no family, and their only goal is fixing the universe or the certain Earths in their own way. So they have to figure this out, whereas somewhere else, it turns out old Atlantis is being attacked. By the way, the artwork, as always, is beautiful in the FF story. And it turns out Sue, Spidey, and Alex go to the old Atlantis, and it's being attacked by not only one, but two supervillains. We got Mole Man, who finally shows up, with one of the Reed Richards, who shows up in... oh, sorry, wrong page. No, I was right. This page. And he looks like a cold Reed Richards. So everybody's still trying to figure out how to stop the... First of all, I didn't like this page either. In this 2-page splash, you have one of the kids who's a pretty dark kind of kid, in my opinion, talking to the thing, saying, if they're talking in there, why are you out here? Seems like the only person that's being left out is you. And basically, he storms off and says, tell Reed and the others I'm taking a break, a few-day break. And I have a feeling that this kid is going to end up as one of the enemies to the FF at some point, or as some type of antagonist that the FF is going to have to deal with. And this splash with Dr. Doom is also another awesome picture. So basically the FF is split up now, and Reed actually says, his father's talking to him, and he says, if you didn't have your family, what would you be doing? And he's like, inventing, making an invention. And then that's when it goes into Atlantis, I believe. I better be right. Yes. Love the black costumes, by the way. The change in color was really awesome. So it leaves you off with the Mole Man attacking Spider-Man, Sue, and Alex. To be continued. And this story is really awesome. Oh, and actually Reed Richards, while he's talking with the supervillains, pardon me by the way guys, some of these issues I read literally right before doing this review, because there were a lot of issues this week. We're talking, and the one person Dr. Doom knew would know where the Reed Richards were building their invention would be his daughter. And it turns out Val does know, and they were talking about the Soul's Anvil, and they plan on using it under Old Atlantis, and that's when they goes to Old Atlantis, and Old Atlantis is getting attacked by the Mole Man and one of the Reed Richards. Awesome. FF is amazing. I'll tell you the truth though, I said this to one of my friends recently, that in my opinion they made Spider-Man a bit more immature than he normally is in this, but then he mentioned that the Human Torch, see, I'm not a Fantastic Four fan, like I didn't read the older books. He said that the Human Torch really was the immature one out of the entire group. So I guess to fill his shoes, they immatured Spider-Man a little bit more than usual, so he would fit into the group more. By the way, FF is one of the most amazing. I love the way they put Spider-Man just directly into the mix, and the team is awesome. In my opinion, I know a lot of Human Torch fans are going to be like, dude, they just killed the Human Torch and it's wrong, the Fantastic Four should have the Human Torch back. I agree. But for the time being, you know they're going to keep it like this. I think the team is awesome, and I think having Spider-Man as part of the FF was a positive, amazing move. Hickman, amazing. Amazing, amazing. I love it. I would absolutely recommend all 4. And with that, Mike's giving me the finger. We have 4 issues from DC Comics coming up. Wow, I ended this perfectly with the Marvel Comics ending. So I'll see you guys in the next part of this week's comic book review.